As a triathlete, you're probably only concerned with one thing. How can I swim, bike, and run faster? And can I get better at all three at the same time? Well, the short answer, yes, but we have to do it smartly. We can't stack sessions on top of sessions and expect to get faster. So today in this video, I'm going to lay out how you can get faster both with running and increase your FTP on the bike. Where most athletes go wrong isn't their effort that they're trying to do for a bike or a run workout. It's that they don't allow themselves enough recovery in between those hard workouts. So on one single day, they'll wake up in the morning and they'll do hard cycling with VO2 max intervals. And then that same day, they'll go out and try and do basically the same thing on a run, where they're not giving themselves enough recovery in between those hard sessions for those adaptations to happen. Instead of doing hard bike and hard run on the same day, we need to stack hard bike with easy run or hard run with easy bike on a single day, or make sure that we do at least one easy or full recovery day in between those harder workouts. So instead of only focusing on the high effort of a VO2 max interval or even sweet spot interval bike or run session, we need to focus more on the recovery in between those sessions, so that each of those harder workouts, we can make sure we give all of our effort for that hard effort, and then also make sure we show up that hard workout with fresh legs so that we can do all of our intervals at the appropriate power or the appropriate running pace. Let's first talk about how we can raise our FTP on the bike. First, you don't have to ride hard every day. In fact, you only need 1 to 2 high quality workouts in a single week. And those can be, your VO2 max intervals, 2 minutes, 3 minutes at a time, or your sub-threshold intervals like sweet spot or steady state intervals on the bike. And then the rest of your cycling workouts for the rest of that week, you can just spend in zone 2, maybe zone 3. Because if we just continuously ride in zone 4 or 5, we're never allowing our body to recover so that we can then get those adaptations, what we're looking for. And then what we're going to talk about next, it will affect your running workouts if you're only cycling hard and then running hard as well. So 2 quality workouts a week, VO2 max efforts or those sub-threshold efforts, and keep everything structured that way. So now let's talk about maintaining and in some cases improving your running pace alongside your FTP. It's important to remember that running on tired or fatigued legs isn't going to make you faster. It usually just is going to reinforce poor mechanics and reinforce bad habits in your running form. So before you do a quality workout for a run session, you need to make sure that you're recovered, you're well hydrated, and you have enough food in your system to do that hard running workout so that we can focus on improving your pace and your speed versus reinforcing the fatigue. So to maintain or improve your running pace while we're trying to build our FTP, we really only need to do 1, maybe 2 quality workouts during a given week. These workouts can be structured a few different ways. They can be structured as your tempo work or your VO2 max intervals, the same type of intervals that you can do on the bike, or your threshold runs, the 20, 30-minute runs at a time, or even like a progressive long run on a Saturday or Sunday, so you can make sure you're building that long aerobic capacity that you still need to run faster. But for running, to keep your speed or improve it, 1 quality workout a week, VO2 max style, 400-meter repeats, 800-meter repeats, or those longer tempo or threshold sessions. That's really all that you need to maintain, or like I said earlier, in most cases, improve your running speed while we're also trying to increase your FTP at the same time. And then just like with their cycling workouts, the rest of your running for the other parts of your week are just going to be used as easy runs, staying in mostly zone 2, sometimes recovered runs down at zone 1, just so again we can allow our bodies to recover from either a hard run session the day before or a hard bike session earlier in that same day. So here's just a weekly general template that I normally use with my athletes. We just change it up, depending on what days are available to train and stuff like that. But typically this is the structure that we'll keep, and then you can move these days around as you need to. So Monday, we're doing complete day off, recovery run, mobility work, whatever you need to do on a Monday. Tuesdays, we're going bike, VO2 max efforts. Wednesdays, we're going easy run, zone 2 running, anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes long, kind of depending on your ability level and your volume that you're able to handle. Thursday, we're doing bike threshold work. So again, we're staying that zone 3, maybe that high zone 3 effort for 10, 12, 15 minutes per set. Friday, we're going easy recovery spin or easy recovery run again. Saturday, we're doing a long bike ride, zone 2, and this can be dependent on your volume level again, anywhere from 90 minutes to 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It's kind of depending on your ability level and the volume that you're able to handle. Sunday, we're going quality run session. These are, like I talked about earlier, our VO2 max sessions, the 400, 800s, or tempo running 20, 25 minutes at a time, or we'll just do a progressive long run depending on what week we're on or something like that. The important thing to remember when you're putting together a week for increasing run and increasing FTP is you don't want to stack hard days, hard workouts on the same day, and you don't want to stack hard workouts for the same discipline on back-to-back days. So if you're going to do hard bike on Tuesday, don't turn around and do another hard bike on Wednesday. Make that an easy run or a hard run session. And then you don't want to stack hard workouts in a single day, like I said earlier. So if you're going to do a hard run session in the morning, then don't turn around and do a hard cycling session in the afternoon. If you're stacking workouts, if we're doing hard workout and easy workout on the same day, we need to make sure you're at a level where you're able to handle that kind of volume. If you are, then good to go. If you're not able to handle that kind of volume, then I would say you probably don't want to do 2 sessions on a day where you're doing a hard session. So if that's your kind of ability level, if you're doing hard session on Tuesday, then just do that one hard session and then do your next session that following day. So we've talked a lot about recovery during this video as well as your hard cycling sessions. Recovery is going to be arguably the most important thing when we're trying to improve speed or trying to improve your FTP on the bike. It's important to remember that really the only true recovery only happens when you're sleeping. You need to make sure that you're trying to get those 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. If you're not getting enough sleep per night, then you're just going to be constantly waking up more fatigued and more fatigued as every day goes on. And then by the end of the week, your legs are going to be so heavy, they're going to feel so tired that you're not going to be able to put in the work or the effort that the weekend workouts or the later in the week workouts are going to demand from you. And then along with sleep, we also need to make sure that you're eating enough food and good quality food to allow yourself to have that fuel to do these harder sessions. Remember, when we're trying to increase power, when we're trying to increase speed, this isn't a time to lose weight. Because when you're losing weight, you're purposely putting yourself in a calorie deficit so that you can lose weight. We can't have a calorie deficit when we're trying to increase speed, increase power. So you need to make sure you're eating carbs, at least having carbs before your harder sessions, high protein intake, eating good quality fats, avocados, nuts, almonds, anything like that. Just make sure that you're eating enough food to allow yourself to have that fuel available to push yourself during your harder sessions. Now, if you are trying to do these workouts where you're trying to increase speed and increase power on the bike at the same time, you might very well likely find yourself in a place where you're just feeling so fatigued, you're not progressing on either one. These are some of the warning signs that you kind of be on the lookout for if you're trying to do both these things at the same time. One's going to be making sure your heart rate's in check. So that includes checking your resting heart rate every single time you wake up. It can either be with a Whoop or a Garmin watch. Just kind of keeping track of what your resting heart rate's looking like every single day, especially if you start to feel fatigued every day. If it's constantly rising up and it's just very consistently getting higher and higher, then that's a good indicator we probably need to have at least a recovery week in there so you can allow some of that fatigue to get flushed out of your system through quality sleep and through eating right and hydrating more. Also, if you feel like your heart rate is a lot higher at a given pace or a given power output than it normally is, that's also a really good indicator that you're probably overdoing it and that you need to take at least a few days of recovery so you can get back to that regular heart rate for your regular pace or that power output. If your legs are feeling really heavy every day, then that's also a really good indicator that, hey, you need to take some days off to allow your legs to recover just a little bit more so you're able to then put in that good quality work for those harder cycling or those harder running sessions. Also, be on the lookout for your mood. If you wake up and you're irritated all day, you're irritated with your girlfriend or your coworkers, then that's also a really good sign that you're probably not sleeping well enough because you're just constantly in this fatigue state even when you're trying to sleep, that your mood is just off every day as well. So pay attention to how you feel, pay attention to your mood, pay attention to your legs, pay attention to your heart rate. If any of those things kind of feel out of whack, then take a few days of recovery. If not, just take a full week of recovery to allow your body to get back to 100% and then continue on with the training plan you're trying to do. Remember what the goal of a training plan like this is to have a higher repeatable power and a faster repeatable pace. So we're not looking to just have a higher power output for a single workout or be able to run fast for a single workout. The goal here is to come out of this training plan with sustained higher power on the bike and sustained higher paces on the run. And when you structure this training properly, you will find that your FTP is going to rise and your run pace at the very least is going to stay the same. And in most cases, if done right, your running pace will also increase. If you want more structured or practical endurance training guidance, make sure to subscribe to my channel below. If you're working on your FTP right now, leave a comment. Tell me what FTP is. Or if you're working on your running pace, tell me what your threshold running pace is down below in the comments. And remember, train smart, make sure you get enough recovery, stay consistent, and I'll see you guys in the next video.